black men? That's the question we're asking today.
Now, black men are more willing to date outside of the race. For what reason, I do not know.
Well, I can think of 10 reasons off the top of my head.
There are so many beautiful, black, educated women out here.
Beautiful, educated black women cliche.
I gotta admit, being well into the third decade of my life, no man, no kids, barely a phone call sometimes.
And we will find out exactly why later in the show.
I'm not the only one having a tough time. There's Carolyn Sawyer here. She's 32 years old. She's a television reporter in Boston. And you say that you haven't had a real date in a year?
A real date in a year. Yeah, that's
so you got a comment. Look at some people out there with, oh gosh. But really, you're not dating. What do you find?
When I define real date, I define it as meeting someone who excites me, who I'm really interested in spending time with.
In other words, you better entertain me and or make me laugh.
I confess, I'm guilty. I'm looking for my father, who's a wonderful black man, who's hardworking, who loves his family. My parents have been married.
No comment needed. Me and the two guys are thinking the exact same thing.
So I've got great examples of wonderful relationships, and I look at that and I kind of look around and say, well, where are those brothers? Yeah. We're not talking rocket scientists here. We're just talking about men who are comfortable enough, confident enough to come up and say, look, I think you got a lot going on. Mm-hmm. How about spending some time?
Worst pickup line ever, even for the early 90s.
You got it kind of going on there. You must have dates every single night. And they say no, and then your friends say, you must be intimidating them.
Weak black men are intimidated by strong black women cliche.
I come from very basic means. Military child. My father spent 25 years in the service. But what he taught me was a lot of self-respect about myself and how to conduct myself as a lady and to have certain levels of standards. And an example of how a man gets up every day and goes out and takes care of his family and people know who the baby daddy is. I mean, you know, right. Good examples.
Well, I do too. I mean, my dad is a gem. I mean, he really is. And I mean, not that we want to run out and marry our dads every place.
No.
No. You just said you were looking for your father.
I confess, I'm guilty. I'm looking for my father.
But we do come from families where we see a father at the head of the household doing the right thing by his women, his children, and the whole bit.
Okay, so here's what we've learned 5 minutes into the show. Both of you are in your 30s, both of you come from two-parent households, both of you look up to your father, and both of you suck at relationships.
But I think that they know the statistics, and in some instances they know that the pool is small, and particularly when you start getting to the level where you're getting specific in terms of education and what you're doing, the pool gets smaller. Let's face it, more black women are in college than black men. And that's not to say that the brother has to come with an education from college.
Let's be clear about one thing. It's never about the education. If he was uneducated, but rich, his education wouldn't matter. The name of the game is money and resources. Always has been, always will be.
Does it ever get to a point where you date outside the race?
I've done that before. I think that you should be with the person who excites you.
Non-black men are not aggressive enough cliche. Also, that's racist.
This is the same brother that, you know, I bet you just $10, let's go in $10, that if I walked up in the room, that, you know, the likelihood of him coming, is he moving his head, likelihood of him coming up and saying, you know, gee, sharp sister, why don't we go have a drink? That's not going to happen. And so while you nod your head, I mean, don't knock me for having had an experience. And I don't think you can comment on an experience unless you've had it.
First off, how would you validate that bet? Second, why would you even assume a man would find you physically attractive? And third, argument from authority fallacy.
Well, that's, you know, I tell you, I'd say this to my girlfriends all the time. You shop in the boutique and there's not enough inventory. You do find yourself going to the department store where there's a little bit more variety.
And that's racist.
There was a doctor in your life. Oh, Lord. Tell us about the doctor.
Oh, boy. I mean, it's not significant that he was a doctor. He just happened to have been a physician.
Yeah, okay.
The problems came when the nurse moved to the new community and followed him, in essence, from one practice to another practice out of state, which I thought was a great deal of effort on one's part. But I tried to be open-minded, you know, because often you meet men who say, you don't give me my space, you don't let me do the things I need to do, and so I'm trying to be open-minded. Right. I think at the point where her weekend to house hunt became like a 5-day stay, and there was an invitation to join the two of them for dinner, I had to draw the line. You know, you got to stop at some point and say, look, this is a
So
little
she was
too
doing
much.
more than taking blood pressure.
That would be my guess.
Right, so
That'd be a safe bet.
Okay, so this bitch is crazy, and she was clearly jealous of the nurse. And of course the nurse looked better than her. She got paranoid when the nurse stayed longer than expected, and the marriage ended because she became the typical insecure, less attractive wife, and couldn't handle the possibility of a husband wanting to f another woman, even though she had no proof of him cheating at all.
Adrienne Burke is a college-educated computer literacy instructor. She has never been married, although she did have her first and only daughter when she was just 14 years old. What? That's awfully early. That's a baby having a baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't regret it, though.
Yeah,
I think it has a lot to do with why I am where I am as far as dating is concerned. You touched on something earlier as far as the intimidation factor. Statistically, I'm not even supposed to be where I am, having a child at 14. But since I am there, I find that a lot of brothers are intimidated.
Weak black men are intimidated by strong black single mothers cliche.
So what I hear you saying is that even though it's difficult maybe to find a good black man, that
keep
you
the
don't
faith.
want to sway outside the race and date some other race.
No, I don't. And let me just explain something. It's not a racial thing. It's a preference thing for me. When I look at a brother, I like what I see. I like the color, I like the power, I like the strength. Okay?
But it's a racial preference.
Okay, but
As much as I hate to agree with Crazy Eyes over there, she has a point.
So where is he?
Yeah, but you know,
So wait, let me
exactly,
play devil's
yeah.
advocate.
But I'm
Where
not-
is
wait,
he?
But wait a
where
minute.
is he? He's out there. I'm
I hear-
29 years old. I'll wait.
I hear everything
wait.
you were saying. Don't get me wrong. And please don't suggest that I'm here suggesting. I have the one friend a colleague who has married outside of the race and jokingly said to us, look, I'd have gone to the other side and it's okay, y'all can come. And I said to her, look, I don't need you to recruit.
I have tested the water.
It's okay.
safe. Right.
I just think, I mean, the world is a global world, and I simply have too many contacts and relationships with all kinds of people to live my life in a box. And I think that if I went through life like that, I'd be wearing blinders.
Holy shit. Now you said earlier,
Does it ever get to a point where you date outside the race?
I've done that before. I think that you should be with the person who excites you.
And I know a lot of brothers, are struggling, due to statistics and what have you. But, you're on a different level, and like a lot of brothers maybe around you are not on that same level, so you find yourself hard to talk to them.
So what is your suggestion to me?
Well,
oh, did you feel that cold breeze just now? Also, want to know what's funny? These two women are from two different socioeconomic backgrounds, but when they have been triggered, they have the exact same look on their faces.
This is Dr. Ron Elmore. He's the author of a book entitled How to Love a Black Man. Come on, Stan.
1993 Photoshop graphics.
I understand the struggles. I say to women who write me, who've read How to Love a Black Man, I say I apologize for every misspoken word from a black man to you, every tear that you may have shed that had one of our names on it.
White knighting at its finest.
I heard you mention something about the waiting idea, and waiting is a wonderful thing to do. Patience is a big part of this process, but it needs to be a working wait.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
And what I'm hearing from my brother in the back, this characterization of very successful black women who are now attempting relationships with men who have not been as educated. I don't see it as a parent-child type thing.
When women are the breadwinners, they will lose respect for the man over time, unless she's afraid of him, of course.
I see it as we have, even if there are two different languages, I believe what love is really about is making the commitment to bridge the gap.
Aww, he still believes in true love.
To bring to
No
the table
doubt, you
because
are a
of
lot
that.
stronger now. Having been through what you've been through, you're a lot stronger. You're one woman that all men, all women should listen to.
First of all, bootleg ludicrous. Second of all,
To bring to
No
the table
doubt, you
because
are a
of
lot
that.
stronger now. Having been through what you've been through, you're a lot stronger. You're one woman that all men, all women should listen to.
no.
For you have went against the odds and come.
You have gone against the odds.
Thank you.
Did you say you might be your man?
For that correction.
One of the many reasons why Rolando sucks at relationships. I also like how the audience laughs off his embarrassment.
Now, we're talking here about where all the good black men, and I got in a little trouble here talking to Rodney. When I corrected your English, I said, you should have went, and I said it should have gone. The lady over here said, see, there you go intimidating men again. You know, did I intend? Is that wrong to do?
No, you corrected me, which is correct.
What did you expect him to say? Yes, you embarrassed me on national TV by correcting me, further perpetuating the idea that black women are smart and black men ain't shit?
There was no intimidation there. I accepted that, and I reciprocated. That was that.
Okay, so bootleg Ludacris isn't well spoken, but he is trying. But I want you all to pay attention to the black women in the audience while he's talking.
I moved on. I still didn't get my point across that being young and being out there's a lot more women than there is us. Now, for the few black men who do achieve status, and then we go back and try to be with our sisters, sometimes we can't be with them because they have children already, or they're with a boyfriend, or for whatever reason.
I'm sorry. What's the problem with having a child?
Said the single mother that had a child at 14 years old.
When there's
Stand up.
when there's a child involved, okay, and I've been in a relationship with a young lady who had 2 children from 2 different men. I had nothing against it. I went in there and took on the responsibilities. She ended that relationship because she felt that she couldn't have me and still deal with the fathers. I had nothing against the fathers. You can see your child, that's your child. But she broke it up because she still had to deal with the fathers.
Oh, okay, so that's your issue when it comes to dating women with children.
Because me and the children had a relationship, but when we broke up, I was out in the cold.
Well, I can tell you that the reason she gave you was complete bullshit. Nevertheless, you learned to never date single mothers ever again. Also, 2 children from 2 different fathers? Trust me, she did you a favor.
My daughter's a part of my life, come see, come sa. Relationships, corporate, whatever. She's a part of my life. So she sees what I go through, just like my previous relationship. Any relationship that I'm involved in, she has say in. If it's not working out for her, it's not going to work out for me. Okay? My daughter comes first. All right? The last relationship that I was in primarily ended because those 2 just couldn't click. She had a problem with him. He had a problem with me having a problem with her having a problem with him.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
Reason number 21,715 to never date a single mother.
I'm 25 years old, and I've dated outside of the race. And I think there's even a problem there. I don't think too many men other than black men, I think men other than black men are intimidated by black women as well.
Weak non-black men are intimidated by strong black women as well, cliche.
I want you to meet 37-year-old Jeanette Bonner. She's a vice president of fundraising at United Way. Jeanette is, well, what you might call a department store shopper. She dates men outside her race, but she also complains that even...
Damn, the face is a mess, but what that mouth do though?
So at what point did you say, okay, enough already. I got to go out and expand my horizons a bit. What made you decide to do that?
Well, basically, my mindset is a nice man would be nice in my life. There's a void right now, quite frankly. My preference is definitely the brothers. But,
I'm sorry, call me thirsty, but I've never seen a mouth that big in my entire life.
I don't think that white men really want to date black women.
You said before that you had trouble finding black men working in the TV industry. Where do you go to find these black men?
That's a good point. I don't go to find men.
Because you said you wait for them to come to you. Dating's got to be like an active process.
I am not, waiting in the sense that you described. I mean, I'm certainly a very socially active person, but on the other hand, I don't go to bars looking for men. I don't go out with a specific mission of let's get a man, let's get a man. You know, some of the girls get dressed on Friday night and they got to get their clothes together, and I'm trying to. No, I don't do that. I'm past that stage in life.
In other words, wait for the perfect man to come find you.
My girlfriend up here is 41-year-old Marilyn Wilson.
That hair is ridiculous, even for the 90s.
Well, I think that we as black women, we all have certain expectations that we are, a certain man that we are looking for. And that was certainly my situation in both of my marriages. My first marriage, I was 29 years old, and many of my friends were already tying the knot, and I felt that biological clock that was ticking, and I only dated my first husband 8 months, which I don't think was long enough to really know him, and as a result, the marriage did not last long. We were not compatible at all. However, my second husband, we were very compatible. I thought we still remain very good friends. I just spoke to him last night, and All's
Did you
well.
tell him you were doing the show?
Yes, he knows
I know
I'm doing the
he's shaking in
show.
his boots right now.
He knows I'm doing the show. I'm still very close with him and his family. I love his mother dearly.
Yeah.
But things just didn't work out. And you have tension in marriages. You have the economic tension. You have the tension of measuring up to someone's expectations. And so all of those things, and unfortunately it just did not work out. As I said, it's a blessing that we are still friends, and all's well that ends well.
So in other words, he didn't make enough money for you and you felt that you could do better. Hypergamy, destroying men one life at a time. Nicole Simpson's alive? You know this episode old as f.
Every time someone's in the spotlight, like a black man, you always see him with a white woman. That's the main thing. You don't see him with a black. It's like, and some of them make comments, no, I don't like black women. I prefer white women. And it doesn't make no sense. It really does. These are the so-called good black men.
In a minute, you'll see exactly why.
I don't have the what happens to be quite often the reaction most sisters have, and that is they're a little bit angry when they see black men who are successful with white women. I don't go there. I don't have that emotion. I'll tell you what emotion I do have, though. I'm just sitting here this evening, and I'm looking at this panel, and I'm thinking, here is a row, you included, of sharp sisters. Why are we spending some of the best years of our lives by ourselves?
All single.
And as old as all of you all are, between the four of you, none of you have a clue.
I'll tell you, quite frankly, it's
the right
easier to
person.
meet a white woman or sometimes Hispanic women because black women have so much attitude when you're out or you walk.
Energy.
99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me.
We hear that all the time. Black women have too much attitude. That's just me. That's just how I am. I know plenty white girls with attitude, let me tell you. That has nothing to do with it. It's about a cultural expression. Just because I roll my head or roll my eyes, whatever, that's confidence. I have confidence in myself, and I'd like to be heard, and I'm going to let you know where I stand. That has nothing to do with it. So that's a cop-out, because if you're too intimidated by me doing this or doing whatever like that, then that's on you. You need to check yourself. Have the confidence enough to step to me regardless.
Okay, first off, weak black men are intimidated by culturally expressive strong black women cliche. And second, you've done nothing but illustrate his point perfectly.
If you're a confident person, if you're a successful person, why should you have to go through all the hassle? You know, you could date other people. There's no need for that.
Okay, go through the hassle. It's not it should not be a hassle. I mean, we're here for one another, and quite frankly, I think that a lot of black men have bought into what the system tells us about black women.
We don't need the system to tell us black women have attitudes. We just witnessed one instance of it. Also, noticed she corrected herself when she said,
Okay, go through the hassle. It's not it should not be a hassle.
but it is.
I think that a lot of black men hold us responsible for being what we've had to be throughout the years, with not having you there as father figures and having to be the mother and the father to our children.
So, deadbeat dads is primarily the reason why black women are I thought you just said it was the system.
And a lot of the other issues that go along that make us the strong black women that we are. And you guys use that against us, and it's not fair.
And why should we apologize for being strong black women?
I swear to Judas, if I gotta say that strong black women cliche line again, I'm gonna shoot somebody.
See, what the problem is, my brother, you just can't handle it. That's it. You can't handle it.
Son of a bitch. You know what? I'm just gonna add 5 cents every single time and not say anything else from here on out.
I've dated. I'm a multi-dimensional person.
I know this is the early 90s, but she is practically naked. Those glasses.
Is he a complete person who's coming to me whole and not looking for me to complete him?
Hypergamy. It's fantastic.
I was desperate. Okay, I'm not saying that anybody here is desperate. I'm saying, speaking for myself, that I was desperate. I had given up. Phyllis is my friend from a long time. She knows I had given up. I said, there are no good black men in New York. I took stock in my life, and I started looking at myself. And I started working on myself. And I said, there's got to be a reason why I keep ending up in the same place with my heart broke over and over and over again. What am I? Instead of saying the brothers have a problem and they can't handle me because I'm working in television. You have to believe that if you center and cleanse yourself spiritually, you will start attracting different kinds of people that won't hurt you, that won't walk all over you, that won't be intimidated by you.
Before, brothers, let me just give you a few little pointers if you want to find that serious sister. Don't go yo, 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 hey, baby, hey, baby, hey, baby. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay?
Catcalling is bad. Don't you do it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, speaking of passion, Glamour magazine is taking some heat from readers over a recent article. They say the piece called 13 Little Things That Can Make Men Fall Hard for You is outdated and sexist, with advice like answering the door in your lingerie and bringing him a beer when he steps out of the shower. Other tips including giving him a massage, letting him solve your petty work problems, and obsessing over his favorite meal. It references hot dogs and cut up macaroni and cheese. The magazine later apologized, saying that nobody wants to go back to the 1950s.
Oh, please.
I know. Oh, please. Look at this list. It has great suggestions in here.
I think so too. I would put it on the refrigerator.
Share with us, Andrea.
Okay, they said after, you engage in a little horizontal hula, make him a sandwich. That's not called 1950s. That's called kindness. And frankly, I think that women should do a little more of that. But men can also be sweet to their women.
Married
couples only, right, everyone likes a sandwich.
Across the board, that was a great list. And what's wrong with cut up hot dogs and mac and cheese? That sounds delicious. Listen, I would put this list on my refrigerator. I have no problem with it. And why did they apparently retract it?
Yeah, they did. They feel badly about it.
For it.
I think Glamour magazine is doing a great thing. I know a lot of the editors over there, Stacey. What's wrong with giving your man a brewski when he comes out of the shower? That's sweet.
I
think this is why we have such.
Are you dating Don Draper? What's going on? I've never gotten out of the shower and been like, I need to get drunk quick. I don't know.
You don't have the
that
right
water
woman.
pressure was too much
You
for
don't
me.
have the right woman.
How about a bourbon? It depends on who the woman
you
is.
don't have the right woman. Yeah,
Really?
I think that's why divorce rates are so high. Women don't know how to take care of their men anymore.
Well, there is a point there. I mean, there is a reason guys sleep with the housekeeper.